Hi guys, it is Haley of Lost Child Cosplay, and today we are doing something very different because your girl has invested in a decent ring light, and so now I am an influencer. I'm a booty guru. Hello, I'm coming for your brand, deal with it. We are in my kitchen. This is where I do my makeup. Today I want to do a bit of like a get ready with me, sort of like chatty vlog kind of thing where I talk about Blizzcon because that's what I got to go to, and I don't know, I want to talk about it. So let's do it. I'm gonna start with putting on some primer, and I'm gonna prime this up by saying that a lot of the questions that I've been getting lately regarding BlizzCon were actually more about Hong Kong and the situation over there and how I feel about it. And I want to say first and foremost that I am pro Hong Kong. I don't even know if that really has to be said. I feel like it's easy to assume that because I think that people should have basic human rights, and I don't necessarily agree with China and how they seem to handle different situations. I also want to say that I do not agree with the way that Blizzard handled a lot of the Hong Kong stuff at all, and I don't want anybody to ever get confused and think that me going to BlizzCon means that I support their decision. The opening ceremonies of BlizzCon, like right then and there, blew my expectations away because I honestly had assumed that they just weren't going to talk about anything to do with it. But they did. Who is it? Like the president of Blizzard came forward and he basically did like a apology, non-apology. I don't really know how exactly to describe it, where they were like, "Hey, we fucked up. We still stand by our decision, but we should have handled it better," which they definitely should have handled it better. And initially, I was very disappointed in this answer, and I am still very disappointed in the way that they handled the whole situation. But after being able to sit down and talk to people that work for Blizzard, people that work for different video games, people that work for companies that invest in these video game companies, and all of these different aspects, the whole situation is bigger than Blizzard Entertainment. It's bigger than any video game company, and it's a lot more complex than I initially was led to believe. They have to really take into account a lot of things. I mean, as you and I both know, Blizzard is headquarters in Anaheim, but they have like satellite offices throughout the country and internationally. And I mean, I don't know if they have any in China, but they have to consider when doing things like this that they do have people that are living in, that maybe they have employees in China, that if they were to, as a company, say, "Hey, we support Hong Kong," those people might be put in danger. Sorry, I have my mirror over here, and my phone's right here, because I don't understand yet how beauty gurus have their whole shit set up. And like, there's a lot to it, a lot more than I, or a lot of other people really thought. So I think that it's really important to keep that in mind. All we can really do is stand by protesters and let people know that we support them and that their voices are heard and that they are important, that they matter. This is a very, very tumultuous time for a lot of different people and cultures, and it's just unity is important right now. So yeah, the opening ceremony, they started with that, and then they moved into all of the announcements. I was in my Crusader on Friday, and the second that we walked in, I was getting stopped for photos, which was really cool. We made our way over to the Dark Moon Fair, which we were really hoping that we would get to go to like one of the stages where stuff was really being announced. And we thought that that was gonna be one of them, and we got there and we realized instantly that that was not really what's gonna happen, but we were already there and we had decent seats. So we sat and we got to see the opening announcements live streamed, and I cried the entire time. I'm pretty sure that in the middle of the opening ceremony, I like got up and got tissues because I'm like full on like in my armor, in my makeup, just crying because I was so excited. Like, I don't know if you guys genuinely understand that BlizzCon has been a dream for me since I was like 12 or 13 when I first discovered that BlizzCon was a thing. Like, it's a big fucking deal that I finally got to go. The Diablo 4 trailer was insane. Being able to see that in person, I say in person, like it's not a fucking video game and projected on a screen, but being able to be there and see people's reactions and everything was amazing and absolutely insane, and it blew my mind away. I did not expect, like people expected there to be a Diablo thing, but I didn't expect it to be that. The trailer was beautiful. It also made me very queasy. Like, genuinely, there were parts where like my stomach was like a little bit, are you sure about this? Like, definitely was super neat, and I am incredibly excited about Diablo 4. As I'm sure like everybody else is. Like, it's just, I got to do the demo, and it was like, it was so cool. After the cinematic trailer, they came out and they showed a gameplay trailer, which I got to speak to some of the people that worked on Diablo, and they told me that the gameplay trailer, not the cinematic, but the one they presented after that, is literally all of it is done in the game engine. Like, there's no extra sparkles or fanfare or whatever the heck added. Like, it's all from the engine, which is awesome. They were telling me that they were just really proud with how everything's come out. They're using an entirely new game engine, as I'm sure many of you know. So it'll play differently than other games, and that you can tell. It looks really beautiful. It plays pretty well too. After that, they talked about, obviously they showed bringing the druid back. Justin played the druid some, and he said that the new druid makes the old druid look like a wuss. Like, it's just very aggressive, and it's a different play style, but that it's very, very enjoyable. Like, he really had a good time. The sorceress I got to try, and she was fun. One of the things that I didn't really expect, which I feel like I should have, and I'm goofy for not expecting it, was that she's very combo heavy. And from the way that she seemed to have played, things will change depending on your combos, obviously. Like, abilities will do different things. There were a couple of times where I pushed a button expecting it to do one thing, and then it did another. And I was like, that's not right. Don't do that. Do what I want. The open world was really neat. I honestly am super excited that there's not going to be like separate zones, because when we were playing Diablo 3 together, like, it just felt, it broke immersion. Like, I didn't like having to wait for it to load up and everything. Like, it's going to be really nice to be able to seamlessly go from place to place. And then PvP will be interesting, and being able to play with other people. I don't know. I'm very excited to see how they handle the challenges that are going to be presented through these new mechanics that they're implementing. It's going to be really cool. So after Diablo, they came to the Mythic stage, and they started talking about World of Warcraft, which is honestly the most disappointed I've ever been in a WoW announcement. I'm not into Shadowlands. Like, I just genuinely, I'm not interested. I'm not involved in it anymore, which is sad, because like, WoW is what got me into Blizzard games. Like, I played on entirely for like 6 years, and then on and off for the past 4 years. Getting to BlizzCon and being disappointed in the WoW announcement, like, I didn't expect it. I think that what I'm the most disappointed in is shit that I did to myself. So on the WoW subreddit, there was a leaked photo of Bolvar as the Lich King, and everybody was speculating, myself included, that maybe we were returning to Northrend to fight the new Lich King, because there's definitely no open-ended plot lines there. Not at all. Nope, it's all taken care of. That's not what happened, obviously. And then I really hope I'm not alone with this, though maybe I am. I'm tired of Sylvanas. I am very, very sick of seeing her involved in literally everything. And I think that she has, like, really, really, really overstayed her welcome. Like, the party ended at 10 and it's 1 a.m. and you're still here, Sylvanas. Go. I'm no longer interested in her as a character. This whole 4D chess bullshit that they're trying to pull with her, like, it's not good. It really doesn't feel like good writing. Or even like if they had made her put the helmet on, which is honestly what I was expecting her to do when she took it off of Bolvar. Like, that would have been fun, you know, but that didn't happen either. I think that if I were still obsessed with her like I was in middle school, then maybe, because she was edgy and fun. There's so many other characters that we could get involved with and storylines that we could go back to. Why do we have to keep going back to her? I know that she's important and she's been in the franchise for a long time, but like, even Thrall is done. Stop. Hearthstone, I didn't really care too much about their announcements because I don't really play a lot of Hearthstone. And honestly, I thought the opening ceremony was only an hour, and it was definitely more than an hour. So after the Hearthstone stuff started, I was like, okay, well, I guess that's it. Like, let's go get some food and let's try and get in line for some. We got up, walked out to go get a pretzel, and in the middle of Justin trying to get pretzel, the Overwatch stuff started. And so I zooped back in there to try and get on that so I could see what's going on. And I don't know, Overwatch 2 will be interesting. I am surprised that it took them this long to finally implement a black woman as a character. Like a playable character, I guess. I don't know. From what I understand, the character that they kind of showed a little bit is the first black female hero. So, I don't know. That surprised me. I think that PvE will be really interesting. Why are my eyebrows always so weird? Alright, let me figure out if I can fix this. I think that being able to do more PvE stuff will allow me to play more and not feel quite so pressured by everybody. So I'm looking forward to that. I am definitely interested in seeing more about these characters and their stories, and also played a little bit of the WoW expansion because Justin was like, don't you want to just give it a shot? And I was disappointed. Like, okay, you know what? Going back to more complaints about WoW, a big issue that I have is that all the zones that they showed feel like revamps of zones we've already seen. So after the opening ceremony, we just kind of hung out and like walked around, and I don't know, I felt like I didn't prepare enough for all the things that I wanted to do and see, but also I was so overwhelmed and kind of lost that I didn't even know. No amount of planning really would have done me any good. I feel like no matter what, I would have been incredibly overwhelmed and not really sure what to do with myself. But I really didn't go to any panels. I mostly just kind of wandered and stared at stuff and did demos. Like, we demoed Diablo 4, which I've said like 16 million times at this point. We demoed Heroes of the Storm, so Justin got to play Deathwing. I played Joanna. We got the 15-year anniversary cups, which that was like a whole debacle. So Friday night they had at 7 p.m. they were going to do 15-year anniversary cups for World of Warcraft and 25-year anniversary cups for Warcraft. Like, it's on the same, you know, it's just kind of like front and back. And you had to be at the beer garden. It started at 7, went until 10. And we were in line basically at the entrance. And the beer garden is all the way like on the other side of the convention center. So we were in line for about half an hour. And finally, Justin was like, Haley, I'm gonna hold our spot. You go on a scouting mission and see if you can get a photo of this cup so we can see what it looks like. 'Cause nobody knew what the fuck it looked like. And I go up and I find the cup, and it's kind of lame. So we're like, you know, we're not gonna stay in line for this thing. Like, it's not worth it to us. We have enough cups as it is, like, whatever. We instead get out of line and we go to the hotel across the street and we drink our little hearts out. I had so many tequila sunrises and we had a really good time. And I got to meet so many cool people at Blizzcon. Sorry, talking about so many different things at once, I feel. But this was really, really cool. Being able to meet people, like I said, people that work for investment companies that invest in Blizzard, people that do work for other video games, people that work for Blizzard. I had somebody who worked for Blizzard who came up to me while I was in my Starlight White Mane, and they said, hey, I helped make this character. This is really cool. Like, your outfit is really cool. Can I hold your staff? And I let him hold it, and I like turned it on, and he was like, that's really cool. It just, I don't know. It's a really, really neat feeling being able to do stuff like that and meet these people that have made these awesome things that help inspire me to be who I am today. I'm gonna put a little bit of shimmer because Crusade is neat. Then, Saturday morning, I'm in Sally White Mane. We go down to the Slaughtered Lamb Inn because they had a really cool little drink that I wanted to try, and I tell Justin, hey, go get in line for drinks. I don't have my wallet easily accessible. I really, really want to try one of these cocktails because it's like fuzzy and foaming and bubbling and stuff. It looked really, really cool. Like, there was dry ice and stuff inside, so like, it was really neat. And he goes, okay, sure, no problem. And he goes in line, and I'm sitting there. People are asking for photos, so like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes go by, me stop for photos, and then Justin walks up, and he's like, so I didn't get the cocktail that you wanted. And I say, what? Why? And he goes, because they had the anniversary mugs and I could only get them if I got the beer. So I went ahead and got us both this beer. I know you're not gonna drink yours, so if you want a drink, I will get you a drink, but I want the cups. And I'll go grab the cups right. This is the cup. It's clear and it's got World of Warcraft 15 years on one side and then Warcraft 25 years on the other. And the beer that it came with was disgusting. It was really bad. Like, Justin tends to enjoy beer and he didn't really like it. We ended up giving my beer to another person, like, here's some free beer. And they took a sip and they were even like, this is rough. I'm pretty sure we ended up dumping it out into the trash. Like, it was not a good time. I don't think that I ever even got that cocktail now that I'm thinking about it. I also got stopped by a few different BlizzCon, I don't know if employees or volunteers or what's the term, that gave me a little collectible pin. Or not a pin, I'm sorry, that gave me a collectible coin, which was super neat. It basically had Deathwing and it was like BlizzCon 2019. And somewhere along the way of that same day, I went to the cosplay repair because I had a small hole in my Sally White mane. And as I was sewing myself up, Justin left and came back and he was wearing a Horde tabard, which is a whole different story. And he's like, somebody gave this thing to me, but I think you might like it better. I was like, what is it? And he shows me, and it's a pin that says BlizzCon cosplay contestant. Like a gold shiny enamel pin. So now I have a pin that I don't think I technically earned, but they gave it to Justin, who wasn't really even in cosplay. He was just wearing a piece of cloth. And he gave it to me. So that was super cool. I didn't even talk about, oh my god. I'm sorry, my brain is all over the place. These are just like random little bits of BlizzCon. I got to walk across the stage during community night. I didn't compete per se, but I did walk the stage, which has been an actual dream of mine for so many years. And I cannot still believe that I got to do that. I had a blast. I really did. That alone made everything that I have done this year worth it. It was insane. I didn't expect to. They didn't really have room, but they waitlisted me. They said, if we find out that we can get you on, we'll let you know. They were able to. Actually, everybody who was waitlisted got to walk. I got to meet some absolute inspirations of mine. This was supposed to be Crusader makeup, and now it's just like kind of halfway full glam. So we're just gonna see how this goes. I'm probably gonna wear the Crusader with the helmet on anyway, so who cares. Meeting Evil Ted was really funny because he was in his cyberpunk inspired Soldier 76 and had like a helmet and mask on, and I did not realize it was him, and I was wearing Sally, and he came up to me and he was like, oh, like, your armor looks really nice. It looks like it was really, really well made. Can I touch it? And I was like, sure, dude, go for it. And as he's talking to me, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I know this man. And he kind of is like, you know, talking, and I go, hold up a second. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I know your voice. What's your name? And he goes, I'm Evil Ted. And he takes his mask off, and I was like, and I got to see everybody that I really wanted to see, I feel. Except for one person, my friend Charles, who does a lot of photos. He's like an amazing photographer. I also got to meet the head of World of Warcraft, like the person who is in charge of everything. And that was an experience. It was Saturday night, which is also when I got to see everybody else again, Saturday night, and we're all drinking at the bar, and somebody comes up to me and they're like, oh, you know, talking to me about cosplay and stuff. And they're like, they go, oh, my boyfriend's talking to the WoW guy, so I should go pull him away because he's probably driving the guy up the wall. And I was like, he's talking to who? So I follow her over, and sure enough, there he is. And I kind of snuck in after she stole her boyfriend away, and I got to talk to him very, very briefly because I didn't want to take up too much of his time. And I told him about how much WoW means to me and how it helped build my relationship with my father, and how like it was incredibly important thing in my life for so long. And I started like crying a little bit, like, because it was very emotional, and I'm trying not to now. I deleted my other video that I made because I was crying, and I just don't want to cry on the internet. But he said that he really appreciated hearing that because that's just, it's nice to hear that kind of stuff about the game. So, I don't know, it was really neat being able to talk to him, even if it was just very briefly. And I was trying not to cry the whole time. The whole thing, honestly, was incredible. I have never felt this inspired to come back home and start working on a project. As I'm sure some of you guys know, I actually literally got home from Blizzcon and started working on something from Diablo 4 that they had art of at Blizzcon. Like, it was new art, and I was like, I want to do that. I really, really hope that I get to go back to Blizzcon next year. I don't know if I'll be able to, because I had been trying to get tickets for like the last 4 years, and even this year I didn't get tickets on the first run. I got super lucky and ran into some people that were able to help me get some tickets very, very last minute. Like, we didn't know for sure that we were going to BlizzCon until 2 weeks before. We had already had room and board and like our planes and everything set up, but we were just waiting for that person to confirm that they had extra tickets 2 weeks before the con. We were like, worst case scenario, we go to like Disney, you know, it'll be fine. And it was genuinely, I like, it probably sounds so goofy and cliche to say it like this, but I feel like it was a life-changing event. There was so much that I got to learn, and so many things that I got to experience, and things that I think pushed Justin and I both in a little bit of a different direction than we initially went out there being on. And not necessarily in terms of like video games, but like, what do we want to do? Where do we want to live? What is our end goal after Justin's in the Navy, or after I go and finish up school, or, you know, whatever else like we end up doing? Like, what do we want? What do we want to experience and do? But in general, like I said, it was really, really cool. And I'm so grateful of all of the people that helped get me there. I'm so grateful of my father for being a bad influence and getting me into video games. I am so grateful for my mother for always pushing me to better myself creatively. I am so thankful for my husband, who gives me hell, like constant hell, and pushes me to never half-ass anything. I'm so thankful to you guys for being so supportive and just pushing me by commenting nice things and sharing my stuff and liking my photos. Like, we are at a level that I never anticipated ever reaching. I have always wanted to cosplay, and all I can really even say at this point is that if you were to take a snapshot of my life today, right now, and a brief synopsis of what's happened, and you were to show it to Haley 10 years ago, 12-year-old Haley, 8th grade, playing WoW, staying up late when I wasn't supposed to, and drinking Mountain Dew, and like being the most stereotypical 13-year-old gamer, and showing her this, like, she wouldn't believe it. She would not, because this is like a dream. I don't really know what else to do now. I'm gonna go, I guess, finish getting dressed in my Crusader, and I'm going to go take photos, because that's what I am getting dressed for. We'll talk to you guys next week. Hopefully I will have a video up with like the actual little clips of my BlizzCon stuff. We'll see, because a lot of them are just like really short, and I missed a lot of stuff on Friday and Saturday that I just didn't really vlog. But thank you. Bye.
Massive shout out to all of my patrons, but an especially big shout out to Things Shug It Loud Now, Nicole Wilson, Joshua Cripps, CJ Rose Cosplay, Robin Matthews, A Materin, and Gage the Necromancer!